Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. My name is Mariela Machado, and I'm the Senior Director for Humanitarian Technologies at IEEE. On behalf of our Humanitarian Technologies Group, our board, and of course, ITU present here in the room, we want to welcome you to our Q&A session on our GenAI for Good Challenge, co-designed by IEEE Humanitarian Technologies and International Telecommunications Union. Thank you for joining us today. This session will be recorded and posted on our website if you would like to revisit at any point once applications open on October 7th. Before we continue, I want to introduce you to our other speakers for today's session. So let me pass it first to our colleague here from ITU, David Mansed. David, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mariela, and it is a real pleasure to be here today in this call with you and to welcome our potential participants to this GenAI challenge. I'm David Mansett. I'm Senior Project Coordinator at ITU, working for the Development Bureau. I will more specifically in this collaboration help you with the technical framework and reply to any questions related to that.
Thank you, David. Now, Ananda, over to you.
Thank you, Mariela. My name is Ananda Grant. I'm the Director of IEEE Humanitarian Technologies. I'm really excited to see all of you here, and I will be working on supporting this challenge throughout the entire process. So I hope to see more of you and looking forward to this discussion today. Back over to you, Mariela.
Thank you, Ananda. Great. So before we get started, we would just want to do a quick overview of what IEEE and ITU are, in case you haven't heard of us or not familiar. Perhaps, we have some IEEE members here in the room, but just to be sure that everyone knows what IEEE stands for and who we are. We are the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers, and we're the biggest engineering society in the world with more than 486,000 members in over 190 countries. We do many things. One thing you're seeing on the screen is that we develop standards, and we have around 1,079 standards and around 1,093 projects under development. We also run 2,000 conferences a year all over the world in exactly this intersection between engineering, electronics, electrical, and computer science, and everything in between. Aside from that maybe some of you have heard that we also run programs to advance technology for the benefit of humanity. And our department, Humanitarian Technologies, focuses exactly on that at a practical level. We leverage on technology, social good programs, and humanitarian engineering. And this is who we are. Next slide. We are a IEEE's Tech for Social Impact Hub, and IEEE Humanitarian Technology supports current initiatives and enable new programs like the one you will be hearing today to apply technology to achieve positive social, economic, environmental, and humanitarian impact. Humanitarian Technologies provides a platform for partnership that IEEE has developed to deploy and expand programs that bring together the right expertise to advance sectors together, like exactly what you will be hearing today on GenAI for Good. This leads us to our partner, ITU. So David, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Mariela. So ITU is very pleased to co-organize this GenAI challenge. For those who may not know much about ITU, we are the International Telecommunication Union, one of the United Nations specialized agencies, more specifically on information and communication technologies. It's a rather large agency. We have more than 1,000 stakeholders contributing to these works. We are liaising and working with 194 member states to date. And to do so, we have offices in various areas of the world, so in regions and areas of interest, and therefore can talk to, liaise with, interact, and collaborate with all of the member states that are concerned. ITU has various types of activities. We have 3 major bureaus. One as dedicated to radio communications, the other on standardization, and the one at stake in this GenAI challenge, the Development Bureau, which is more about concrete projects on the field. Last but not least, and worth to mention, we also are hosting the biggest AI-related forum in the world, which is called AI for Good, which to date has more than 37,000 members. And the work that is being proposed as part of this challenge comes from the state-of-the-art analysis that we have thanks to this AI for Good initiative. Back to you, Mariela. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. And again, we're thrilled to be joining forces and partnering with ITU because, as you're seeing on the previous slides, we're both big organizations that have a big footprint in the world and are bringing together both of our technical expertise on the ground. So we're really excited, David. Thank you for being here also. So what is the challenge? What is this challenge? The GenAI Challenge is a global initiative that is connecting innovators and change makers to real-world challenges identified by ITU and other UN specialized areas in specialized agencies in 3 focus areas: health, agriculture, and climate. Next slide. So why is this challenge unique? But you might be wondering, why is the difference with all the initiatives that are happening on GenAI currently? You'll work on challenge first because you'll work on real world problems that are identified directly by UN agencies and by ITU on the ground. This means advancing your solution in a real world setting with both funding and structure open source frameworks designed for deployment and impact. Second, your solution will benefit from and contribute from GenAI. And this is what I mentioned in the previous point, the frameworks. ITU has been working now for quite a while on an open source framework that is giving a head start and connecting you to a global effort that ensures your work will contribute to advance generative AI for public good through open source frameworks. Third, the challenge offers up to $25,000 in grants and prizes alongside with the structure support that help your idea go beyond the lab and actually get deployed on the ground. You'll collaborate then with UN country agencies, national ministries, and ITU local leads to test and implement your solution in a real world setting. And finally, I think, something that I mentioned earlier is that we're bringing together our technical frameworks, our engineering capacity, and our global networks to help take innovation beyond the lab and achieve true social impact. So we're very excited to put this in front of our constituents at IEEE and also on ITU's constituents to actually advance the GenAI for Good sector at large. So over to you, Ananda, for the focus areas.
Thank you so much, Mariela and David. So I'm going to go in a little bit to talk about the 3 focus areas and the use cases. So as we mentioned, the focus areas are there's focused on 3 sustainable development goals, and each focus area has a specific use case that defines the problem to solve and the people that you'll design for. These solutions, when deployed, could have significant impact. The first focus area I'm just going to provide an overview of is agriculture. This is based in Lesotho. This use case is looking to develop an AI-powered agricultural extension chatbot. This would be a mobile-friendly AI chatbot offering farmers and agricultural advisors in Lesotho real-time agriculture advice, crop alerts, and market guidance via voice, text, and basic phones. When developed and deployed, this solution could reach thousands of farmers and extension workers nationwide. It could enhance agricultural advisors' efficiency and knowledge delivery, improve food security by reducing crop loss and boosting productivity, and support climate resilience and sustainable agricultural practices. There's a lot more detail about each of these use cases and focus areas, so you'll see that there is a fact sheet linked. So I'm not going to go into that in detail today, but just wanted to at least provide you that high-level overview. Next, we're going to talk about the focus area of health. This is based in Gambia, and this use case is looking to develop an AI chatbot for the prevention and control of non-communicable diseases, or NCDs. This mobile-friendly chatbot would deliver prevention advice for NCDs, plus healthy lifestyle tips and risk factor guidance, again, via voice, text, and basic phone. In terms of potential impact, this solution could reach up to 1.5 million people nationwide, save over $5.5 million in health costs and productivity over 15 years, reduce avoidable hospital visits and strengthen health system efficiency, and build long-term healthy behaviors, starting with youth engagement. And the last focus area that I'm going to provide an overview on is climate. And this is based in Bangladesh. This use case is looking to develop an AI-powered advisor providing early warnings and safety guidance during droughts, heat waves, and storms, delivered through SMS, WhatsApp, social media, and voice for broad multilingual access. Again, this solution could also have significant impact, providing localized early warnings to thousands of farmers and households, supporting drought and heat wave preparedness through clear steps, reducing crop losses and protecting rural livelihoods, and really amplifying the reach of trusted weather and disaster information services. Next, I'm going to provide a little bit of information on eligibility and participation. So in terms of who is eligible, this challenge is open, right? So it's open to anybody over the age of 18 globally. There will be full eligibility details and contest rules that will be available when applications open, but at a high level, this is really a challenge that is designed for a broad applicant pool. Next, are there any licensing requirements? I think you heard a little bit about the solutions that will be developed leveraging GenAI, which is an open source framework developed by ITU. So therefore, to be eligible for the challenge, we want to maintain that openness. All teams must license their work under Apache 2.0, MIT, or another equivalent open source license. You may be wondering, what kind of expertise is required for this kind of challenge? And the answer here really is there is no single requirement for expertise. Each team should assess what skills are needed to develop their solution, and the team's relevant skills will be evaluated as part of the application process. Although AI development is a necessary skill, there's going to be other kinds of relevant skills related to project development or your focus area that's going to assist you in the success of your proposal and prototype. So again, this is really going to vary across focus area and teams, but as an example, this could include individuals with domain expertise. So that could be a public health specialist, UX designers, project managers, AI engineers, or other technologists. It's hard for us to think about exactly that type of expertise because you'll have to determine that as you look at the focus areas, the use cases, and determine sort of the makeup of your team. There will be technical sessions further outlining the foundational skills needed in October. We'll provide more details about that on this call. And again, your proposal should really reflect the capacity to deliver the type of solution that you're outlining. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about teams. So you might be wondering if you need a team to actually be formed before you apply. And the answer there is no. You don't need a team to start your application, but you would need a team in place in order to submit a final application for review. So that by the December 1st deadline, which I'll talk about in a little bit further, but again, when you're starting out, the team doesn't need to be fully formed, but you want to have that team fully in place when you submit that application. Next, how large can a team be? Again, this goes back to one of the things I was saying before in terms of team makeup. The size is going to vary, right? Because it's flexible and should be based on the needs and of your proposed solution and the skills of the individuals that are on your team. One thing I do want to note is that you may only join one team for this challenge. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about the high-level timeline and process for the challenge. I will say I know we're going over a lot of information. This is a high-level timeline. You'll have much more information that will be shared with you that will go into more detail about both the timeline as well as the process. But I'll take you through this high-level timeline. So applications open on October 7th, and they close on December 1st. On October 13th and 14th, there will be live information sessions, which are, again, going to provide that additional information to support you on developing your application and solution. These sessions will be recorded and posted on the website for anyone that is not able to join those live sessions. We do recommend that if you are going to be joining those sessions, that you take a look at the application. Again, that opens on the 7th, but that will give you a sense of a lot more information about sort of the process, and you might want to bring any of, some of those questions to those sessions. It'll give you more of an overview kind of what we're looking for. So again, would encourage you to look at that before attending the info sessions. The finalist teams will be notified in January, and that's one per focus area. The winning teams will be selected in April after a second round of evaluation. And then the final step there is implementation, where the 3 winning teams will deploy and pilot their prototype solution. And we'll provide a little bit more information about that today and next week in a couple of weeks as well during the info sessions. Next up. Okay, so this is, again, a high-level overview of the challenge process. I'm going to walk you through kind of these 5 different stages to give you an overview of what that's going to look like. Stage 1 is to submit a written application for a solution that is aligned to one of the focus areas and use cases. The finalists will be selected in January through an evaluation process, and they will continue and move on into stage 2, which is the prototyping phase. In this stage, finalists will develop their prototype leveraging the open source framework, GenAI, and other technical frameworks and tools that will be provided in the future during those info sessions. In stage 3, teams are going to have the opportunity to really refine those solutions, and they're going to do that with input from technical experts directly and local stakeholders. And this will really ensure that there is readiness for the solution, and it also supports positive social and environmental impact when thinking about implementation. Excuse me. At the end of this development period, in stage 4, we want to see the solutions, right? So finalists are going to pitch their solutions to a global panel of judges and partners. That will include representatives from IEEE, ITU, and also the focus area experts that have really put input into these specific use cases. So we want to make sure that we have their input as well. And lastly is stage 5, deployment. One winning team per focus area will be selected. These winning teams will work, again, with IEEE, ITU, in-country partners to pilot their solution during the implementation period. And the winning teams can access up to $25,000 in grants and prizes, which I'll also provide a little more detail on as well. Next slide. Next slide. So as I mentioned during the last slide, 3 winning teams will access up to $25,000 in grants and prizes. And this is really done pre and post implementation. So pre-implementation, those 3 winning teams will receive up to $10,000 to support implementation of that prototype. And upon successful implementation, a $15,000 cash prize will also be awarded. More details will be provided here, but just want to note that the winning teams must adhere to some grant guidelines to receive the funding. and the cash prize will be subject to the successful completion of any grant requirements. Again, more details there will be provided and outlined. Talked a little bit about implementation, and just at a high level, right? We've got 3 very different focus areas and use cases. So implementation will look a little bit differently, but essentially these solutions will be implemented in partnership with ITU, IEEE, UN in-country offices, other partners, depending on the focus area. Okay, resources and support. I know that we're going through a lot, and you're going to have, I'm sure, additional questions, and we'll be looking for additional information. So I want to share some more information about both the info sessions as well as some resources that will be available to support applicant teams. So we have 2 online information sessions that are going to occur on October 13th and 14th at 8 a.m. Eastern. And that will follow the application launch, again, which will be on October 7th. At a high level, the first session will provide a deeper dive into the challenge, including the specific focus areas and use cases. So we will actually have those focus area experts with us on those calls, and they will be there to provide from their perspective, kind of what they're looking for in the solution, and provide more of an overview of the use case that they are looking to solve. The second session is, I see a hand raise, Alexandra. I'm just going to go through a couple more slides, and then we're going to open it up for questions. Thank you. The second is going to be focused on technical requirements and frameworks. So this is going to be more of a detailed introduction to the technology stack and framework. It's going to focus on the technical requirements and expectations, really ensuring that participants are equipped with the knowledge they need to start building their solutions. Next slide. And again, I want to make sure that everyone here is aware there will be more information provided. So I definitely encourage you to visit our webpage, which is linked here, and it will be updated on the application open date with a lot more information, including a recording of this call. Those detailed fact sheets will be available, more information in terms of technical background and resources. So what I would encourage you to bookmark that page and sign up for any updates. As well, we would encourage you, join the conversation, right? This is really a global community. And we encourage you to both follow us on social media. You may be seeing us post about the challenge, and ITU posting about the challenge, and really join the conversation. We see this as really the beginning of a longer term project, right? We're just sort of getting ready to open the applications, but this project, the entire project will take us, through the beginning and middle of next year. So we really want it and keep that engagement with all of you here as well. I think with that, and thank you so much for your patience. Again, I know we covered a lot, but we wanted to make sure that we provided some of this basic information before taking any questions. So thanks again.
Great, thank you everybody for your presentation. I'm now going to field questions, and we have some coming in by chat, and I believe we had a hand raised, although it's now lowered. If you would like to ask a question live, you're welcome to raise your hand, and I will call on you and allow you to use your voice or allow you to talk on the video. But for now, we'll start with some of the questions that are coming in on the chat. So the first question that we have here is, will they have access to this presentation? Ananda, do you mind reiterating that?
Sure, absolutely. We are going to have this recording on our website, as well as the presentation, and we will actually be hosting a Q&A document. So the questions that are in this document will be added to that Q&A that will be accessible. And as we see other questions coming in after today, either through those info sessions or through other means, we will ensure that those questions are added to an accessible Q&A, just to make sure that you have that information handy. Thanks, Antonia.
Great. Great, thank you. And then the next question we have is about the 3 focus areas. There were countries associated with these focus areas that were presented. Are the applications restricted to addressing those countries that they are associated with?
I will start, and I will also ask my colleague from ITU can add a little bit more here. And initially, yes, the focus, the countries, these countries were determined, identified rather, in partnership with ITU and the use case owners, to really think about, where we want to pilot kind of an initial solution. That said, so it would be focused on that specific country. That said, our hope is that these kinds of solutions could be leveraged, beyond these initial countries following a successful implementation. David, anything you would add there?
Yes, thank you, Ananda. It's a very good question indeed. So I would say that the solutions should be developed and scaled in the indicated countries, but indeed the objective is to come up with digital public goods that can be reused in other countries. There will be, as part of the info session, especially on the technical framework, some more indications on the will for the participants' solutions to adhere to the DPGA standard on digital public goods. The point being that we really want concrete solutions to come up from the challenge. We want them to scale in the indicated countries, but at the same time, this is open source and this should be made reusable. Over to you, Antonia.
Great, thank you. Moving to the next question, we have a question about evaluation and implementation. So the question is the evaluation only on the proposal document or the application documentation? And is there no implementation involved in the evaluation process?
There's going to be 2 phases of evaluation. So first, there is a written application. So once you have all of the information that is provided, through the info sessions and through the use case owners, there will be that initial written application, which will be evaluated. Then 3 finalists per focus area will move forward to phase 2. And that evaluation will be looking, more deeply at a technical solution, right? So using, how you have actually leveraged those frameworks. So that will be kind of, again, those 2 phases. 1, just written, how would you approach the development of this solution? And then 2, sharing actually what you have developed, sharing that code base, and the leveraging of the tools provided by ITU. David, I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to add there. Again, we will provide a lot more information about both the application process and the evaluation, but just at a high level, wanted to share that.
Thank you, and I don't think I have anything to add to your answer. It was quite exhaustive.
Thank you.
Next question is a clarification on which countries people can apply from. There is a question specifically if those from India are able to apply.
Yes, as I mentioned, it is a global competition. So India is absolutely, we actually work with India on a lot of our other IEEE humanitarian technologies projects. So absolutely, we would encourage applicants from globally, including India.
Great. I'm going to have the next question come from somebody who's going to share their voice themselves.
Do you have to unmute somebody?
Say. Nguyen, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. You should be able to speak now. You're getting a notification? Okay, we'll go back to the chat, and if and we can always come back to this. Okay. There's a clarifying question about the timeline. The question is, will it be possible to link deadlines for the different 5 phases you presented? I think that there's maybe some clarification about what happens after the first phase and what will happen in January.
Yeah, I think as I mentioned, we will have a more detailed timeline. We were trying to give kind of an overview of the challenge, but it doesn't actually have the dates. So what we will have on the website is a much more detailed timeline that sort of has dates on it by phase, and then that'll give you more of an indication on what is happening sort of, throughout the different months. So that should be on the website when the application opens on the 7th.
Great, thank you. How many teams do you expect at each stage, starting teams and finalists per each use case?
Well, to start, we hope that we have a lot of teams that are interested in the challenge, but there's no limit, right? So we have the 3 focus areas and use cases, and so there's not a limit in terms of the number of teams. We've seen a lot of interest. So phase 1, we will hope for a lot of teams. That means that a lot of folks are interested in trying to come up with a solution. Phase 2, we will announce the 3 finalists per focus area in January. And at that point, we would have a total of 9 semifinalist teams moving forward to the phase 2 and prototype development. And that would be 3 per focus area. So no limit on teams as we open the applications. Applications close December 1st. There's a lengthy evaluation period. And then in mid-January, we would announce those 3 semifinalist teams per focus area.
Great, thank you. I believe this next question actually is a question for David. It's in terms of using the prototype tool provided by ITU, what kind of knowledge and expertise does a team need?
Thank you, Antonia. So basically, the technical framework that ITU is providing is actually a community-based development that took place for the last 2 years, which is called GenAI. It is entirely open source. It's mostly a set of open source software stacks that make life easier in playing with open source LLMs, with RAGs, retrieval augmented generation, and with agentic related developments. So the stack is just meant to give a hand at really quickly getting aboard the use case and being able to address the use case requirements. So we expect the participants to have open source knowledge, how to work together in an open source setting. So accessing a Git repository to commit source code in. We expect people to be knowledgeable about the software stacks that we'll present during the info session, as part of which you will find a number that are really up to date and really well known in the community. We are not expecting the participants to really develop new open source software, large language models, in this competition. We would rather like to see participants use open source LLMs and fine-tune with the RAGs and further develop on top of the provided GenAI. So we believe that the participants, they just need to form teams with different expertises. And we will be, during the whole challenge, supporting you in understanding the software stack, having access to all of the documentation and the various tools to code together open source.
Great, thank you. Mariela, I'm going to pass this question to you. Are IEEE and non-AAA members able to be a part of a team?
Yes, for everyone that is a non-IEEE member, you also get a chance to participate In any case, we'll be drafting a more detailed eligibility criteria in the next couple of days, so before applications open. So stay tuned for those details.
Great. This question is also going to be for you, Mariela. Does the competition welcome proposals from companies with chatbot services already proven in other countries? And David, you may have a perspective here as well.
Yeah, I think Ananda, you might have more of an answer to this question than me.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I would say is we're finalizing again that eligibility criteria. So these are considerations that we will have kind of further. I don't want to give a quick answer on the call, so we'll have that outlined in more detail in the contest rules when those are posted. Thank you.
If I may add, Antonia and Ananda, we will have to of course, make sure that the selection criteria are met as they will be published. But to partially answer the question, the resulting solution will have to integrate the Genie.ai framework to be accepted as a solution of the GenAI challenge. And the framework is providing a number of abstraction software stacks. So we do hope that existing developments may well fit. It's been done for this, but it will have to be seen on a case-by-case basis, and technically speaking, what it means, especially if it is a product from the private sector that is already a vertical, already integrating the various layers of a software.
And we just want to add just one other layer here. Again, we will be posting more of the contest rules, and this will include exactly that. But companies that have already created a solution that is in the market, they might not be eligible to apply because they need to adapt it to the very specific use case that we have outlined. So, maybe you can reuse part of your solution, but again, leveraging what ITU has created to be sure that it's following the and probably good that we're trying to build throughout the competition.
Great. Thank you for the thorough answer from all three of you. The next question is, I'll pass to Ananda. And is the first round of evaluation on a presentation or based on documentation?
This is going to be a written application. And we actually are going to be leveraging IEEE Humanitarian Technologies uses an existing platform. It's a grants platform. It's called Foundant. And so you will have access to that again on October 7th. And it's really a written application that's going to take you through a series of questions, right, that we are going to look at to ensure that we can effectively evaluate your submission. It'll also ask questions about kind of who's on the team and any other, information you want to provide about your team members, whether that's a resume or something else, but it's purely written and question-based.
Great, thank you, Ananda. The next question is the challenge limited to software design, or can the teams propose open hardware design in addition to software? I'm going to let the three of you decide who is best fit to answer this.
I'm going to pass this to David because he will, I think he will be the best person to answer this question.
So as far as the hardware is concerned in the challenge, we will provide access to cloud compute resources to host the actual developments and to test the scaling of the resulting solutions. So we are not, the challenge is not about open hardware. It's mostly open source software, open data when it is possible. We will provide training data sets to start with in the free use cases. It's also about open content, open standards, and open artificial intelligence models. We really want to come up with something that is truly open source and that respects and adheres to international standards in the field, especially digital public goods.
Great,
And
thank you.
Antonio, if I may add to David as well, again, the hardware, it's not included in the competition. It will be a really good to have, but for all the criteria for selection into the next phase of the competition, we're not really considering the hardware component. And as David is mentioning, we're offering cloud computing. So, we don't see that as a need. But again, if that's something that the participants would like to innovate on, you're welcome.
Great, thank you. I believe this next question is also fit for David. Do you have a structure of the written application? What do you expect in terms of the solution architecture and design? Can we use existing tools apart from the ITU open source framework? And if somebody else should answer that, please go ahead.
So applications will have a well-defined structure, and I guess Ananda can say a little more about this. But as far as the software or solution architecture is concerned, we expect the participants to really integrate the provided technical framework, because this is a common basis that will allow further benchmarking of the various solutions. It's minimally invasive in the sense that it's not, of course, it's not the entire solution. Otherwise, there wouldn't be such a GenAI challenge. So we just expect the participants to integrate the framework. They can come up with their own architecture, their own components. They will just have to make sure they are well connected to the rest of the architecture, which provides to the potential solutions a sufficient level of abstraction and flexibility for future scale-up.
Thanks, David. I think the only thing I would add is just to reiterate that, yeah, I realize it's a little challenging. We haven't provided all of the information yet, right? But on October 7th on our website, we will have additional resources. And we know that a lot of the questions, we hope that a lot of additional questions will be addressed in these info sessions that are happening on the 13th and 14th. So that's why we wanted to provide quite a bit of time until the application closes on December 1st, so that you have the opportunity to kind of look through those resources, look through that application in advance to see if those questions are addressed, and then come to those info sessions, or if you have follow-up questions after, we will make sure those are answered. And if you're not able to attend those sessions, again, those will be recorded. We will have some additional recordings on some specific technical topics that we will also be posting to our website to ensure that you have as much of that information as possible. We'll also have links to additional resources as well.
Great, thank you. I believe this question is best fit for Mariela. Can a local version of this challenge happen in an IEEE section to prepare members for the global challenge and also allow for a learning curve?
That is a great suggestion that we have not considered for this as a specific challenge, and we will certainly incorporate that into hopefully next year's or the year after. But if you can type which section you're part of, we can certainly be in touch and put your contacts and, maybe do some sort of training, for your section if you believe there's enough interest. So we can certainly explore how to support you in that endeavor, if that's something that as an IEEE member you would like to do, so that we encourage participation at that local level.
Great, thank you. I believe that this was already answered, but just could we reiterate what the evaluation will be based off of?
So I think, I think once you have a sense, once you see the application, you'll get a much better sense of how the evaluations are going to be how the applications are going to be evaluated. I mean, at a high level, right, we're looking to ensure that you have a clear understanding of the focus area and use case, that you're thinking about how your specific solution really addresses that use case, how you're thinking about risk mitigation, how you're thinking about and I'm just speaking broadly here, how you're thinking about how you might think about integrating input from local stakeholders. So there's really a number of different criteria that we'll be looking at, but I think that will be pretty clear in the evaluation. And of course, right, we'll be looking at how you are leveraging the tools that David referenced, right, in developing this solution, how you're thinking about that. You know what the focus area is, you know what the use case is, how would you approach it, right? So I think, again, we hope to see a range of different kinds of solutions, but the application is pretty detailed, and hopefully that'll give you a really good sense of kind of what we're looking for. I don't know if Mariella or David, anything you'd want to add here?
Mariela, I don't know if you want to add.
Nothing to add. Thank you. Thank you, David and Ananda.
Well, I think I don't have anything to add, and I think that even though I can feel that people are eager to know more about the criteria, we gotta wait for the official announcements.
Great. This is a question that's, I think, clarifying the defined architectures and ideas that could be used in addition to the GenAI platform. So my understanding of the question is, are there stacks that can be integrated as well on top of using that?
I guess the question is for me. So the answer is yes, definitely. What we are providing is just a Kickstarter. It's just to accelerate the developments and make it possible within the time frame of the GenAI challenge to come up with impactful solutions. So we've just made sure you have all of the necessary to get started and to be in a professionally good position to scale with and in the countries at stake. So, of course, we are expecting several contributions and integrations of software from the outside, provided it's, of course, open source and within the framework that was indicated at the beginning of this presentation in terms of the licensing and technical conditions.
Great, thank you. Mariela, this question is for you. The question is whether each team will need one IEEE member.
So as of now, that's not a requirement, but again, we're finalizing the contest rules, and that just to say that maybe it could be an option to be an ITU member, but that is all to be defined within the next week. As of now, you're not required to be an IEEE member to apply. But we will clarify this further with targeted communications and the contest rules. So we would really encourage you, as we have mentioned during this call, to look at that final documentation that we are going to be posting once applications open. And again, to join, as we also have mentioned, the information sessions, especially for all the technical questions. They will do a deep dive. ITU team and all of the working group that has been created in GenAI is going to be connected there. So just to be sure that we're highlighting that more information is to come.
Great, thank you. The next question is if there's an infrastructure to link non-winners or non-finalists to other potential funding opportunities through IEEE, ITU, or other partners. And I'll leave that open to whoever would like to jump in here.
At this time, and Mariela, feel free to weigh in here, we do not have, we're just starting the application process. We do not have an infrastructure. I think the question was for finalists or winners, sort of post-implementation to other funding opportunities. We do host opportunities on our IEEE Humanitarian Technologies webpage. So again, we would encourage you to register on that webpage and look for other information there. We do post information about other types of funding opportunities on our website.
Great, thank you. Will there be a central platform or community workspace such as Slack where participants can join and receive updates, resources, announcements, so on and so forth?
I can take that one. So we're going to have sort of a couple of different resources. So one will be on our website. What we're going to actually do is right now, you signed up, you registered interest. Now you see the application is open. Once the application is open, we're actually going to have 3 different landing pages, like per focus area. All of those pages will have, again, all of the resources that we're talking about today, this video recording, a Q&A, and we will be rolling out a tool to address questions. So that'll be, we'll take questions that we're getting and put those in the Q&A. At this point, we're looking at probably not Slack, but a different type of tool where we can track inquiries that are coming in, sort of a ticketing system, a tool, and ensure that those are routed to the appropriate teams. So as you'll see, our colleagues from ITU will likely be handling a lot of those technical questions. If we see more questions about the platform, those will come to us. We'll figure out if there's other questions that need to be handled by the focus area experts, but we will have a resource that will be available that we will be announcing over the next couple of weeks.
Thank you, Ananda. Will there be opportunities or office hours where we can get guidance on, where applicants can get guidance on their ideas?
So I will take this one as well. We will provide, again, more information during those info sessions about the opportunities to get more live guidance. So that could be office hours, as you mentioned. That's something that we're certainly looking into. So we will provide more information on that once we have those info sessions and based on some of the input that we're getting. And certainly in that second phase, there will be more structured time with kind of technical experts and the use case owners. But we will certainly have some opportunities leading up to the application deadline.
Thank you. Ananda, I'm going to pass the next one to you as well. Can a team apply for multiple focus areas? And are there any limitations? Yes,
thank you for that question, Antonia. So there is a limitation. So you can apply for one, teams can apply, or individuals and teams can apply for one focus area. So an individual, that means you can be on one team applying for one focus area, right? We wouldn't allow someone to be on multiple different teams, right? And apply for the different focus areas. It's one individual that can be on one team for one focus area.
Great, thank you. Next question is, in terms of the evaluation of phase 1, apart from the written documentation, are there any other requirements such as proposed software solutions, a prototype, or a demo? It's a clarifying question here.
So, and David, I may, there will be quite, again, as I mentioned before, there's going to be, it's a purely written application. So I do think there are, you will want to be prepared to answer questions about, how your solution would leverage GenAI and what other technical tools you would propose for the development of your proposed solution. But the actual solution development would happen in phase 2. And again, we'll provide a lot more, and I'm sorry to be repeating myself, but we will provide a lot more information, at each phase of the competition. And I think, again, once you get into the application, you'll get a much better sense, and it should be quite clear. And if it's not, you can come back, exactly what will be required for that application.
And just to add to what Ananda is saying, for the first phase, we are asking again for more of your high-level architecture, how you're planning to connect the components, the workflow, the data flow, the libraries that you're planning to use. So you should have, a clear picture if you're doing, for example, mobile application development, the integration, how you're integrating. So you should have, it's a written application that should be including also all the technical expertise that is required for you to, if you go to the next phase, actually start building it. So, I just want to emphasize a written application, but with all the technicality that you might require to be sure that the technical team, is actually assessing if that solution is feasible. And let me pass it to you, David, in case you have anything to add for this first phase, that they're asking on, how much do they need to include in the written application to be able to go to the next phase?
I would expect software related information, considerations about architecture integration, and all pertinent information that would help us really well assess the technical solution you're proposing. But I guess that we'll have to wait for the application form to come up, because we'll certainly have some limitations in terms of the actual attachments or volume of information that we're expecting.
Great. Thank you so much. This question is it a requirement to have a person from the country that the solution would be implemented in? And is it possible to have a contact in that country?
I can, Mariela, did you want to answer?
Yeah, I can take
Yeah.
that question, Ananda, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So for the in-country participant, that would be a plus for sure. It's not a requirement, but we'll be sure to do really targeted information sessions so that you understand the user that you're serving in that country if you don't have the background. So we'll be doing a little more targeted outreach and information sessions so that you get in touch with some stakeholders that might be your end user. Just to say that the question is really thinking about what we are also envisioning, that you really need to understand who are you serving to actually tailor that GenAI solution to serve them. So it will be a plus, it's not required, it's the bottom line. And we will certainly, once the competition starts, be sure to host those information sessions so that you get a little more information about who is your end user in that country.
Thank you, Mariela. So I know we're about to close out. I just want us to reiterate one thing I saw a bunch of questions come in on. Could we please just reiterate one more time if there will be resources for online computation and the training of the models in phase 2?
I guess I should take this one. Yes, there will be. This is part of the GenAI challenge. So the participants will be provided with not only the access to the technical framework to develop their solution, but also the compute resources that are needed to train the models and to test the solutions.
Great. Thank you. I just want to reiterate for all the attendees here that I did dismiss a couple of the questions because they were answered earlier in the call. So if you feel your question wasn't answered, please, I encourage you to rewatch the video. We will also make sure all of these questions are answered on the website that came up in our FAQ. And I will pass it back to Ananda to close out.
Thank you so much, Antonia. And I just want to say thank you to everybody here. I mean, it's so great to see so many people and frankly, to have all of these questions, right? It shows that there is quite a lot of interest. And so again, just want to say thank you, and I'll pass it to you, David, just for a quick close, and Mariela. We look forward to seeing more of you online and in the future sessions.
Thank you, Ananda. So I'm really happy to see all of these questions and interest for the GenAI challenge, and ITU is also quite pleased and very much looking forward to assessing the various applications worldwide and to really make an impact and a difference in the 3 SDGs and areas that we've selected. And you can be assured that we will support you throughout the process and really until the very end, until we scale your solution and it gets out in the country. Thank you very much. Back to you, Mariela.
Thank you, David and Ananda, and thank you everyone for the questions and interest you provided. We're super excited, to see all your questions come in, and we look forward to more of that and to your application. We're really thrilled to get started with our competition on October 7th, so stay tuned for information online and that we'll be sending out. And thank you so much for supporting IEEE and ITU in advancing generative AI for the benefit of humanity. Thank you everyone for joining, and goodbye.